I know it's better. I hope it is. Yes. How are you?
Fine, how are you?
Good.
Nice to see you today.
Yes. I did.
So they want to sit down.
The chair.
Yes, they say you should share with you are a master planner.
No, you know,
We have been invited to my son-in-law. Decided to split up. So she's coming to the wedding. I've got to stay here and go to Texas.
Hey, how are you, Chris? All right.
Maybe move that.
Good morning, sir.
How are you?
Oh, pretty good.
All right.
Yes, sir.
You working on
How you
my,
doing?
you working on my request?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
It's in the works right now.
Okay.
You know.
thank you.
Yes, sir.
How come they? Cold in here. Yeah. 64 degrees.
All right. Out of
3 minutes.
For rolling.
Sir.
Give me a sign.
You know. Nope, yeah, no, they were here this morning when I came in.
Hello. Nothing else. Elvis is just like the builder. Hey, look, somebody left me a little tea. Huh?
My name
I need to fix it. I don't know.
but it doesn't give me exact locations we're doing really crap. I have now learned how to do. So overlay of Google Maps.
No.
I forget where they came from, they were in here this morning. Somebody from no, all four, all 5 of them. I didn't. Good morning. I'm fine. How are you doing?
There's items that they,
Yeah.
Went to buy.
Okay.
Lisa.
Who's taking I think that's the ones that are turned down there. If anybody would like to speak about any of the agenda items and haven't filled out one of these requests right here, please come do so now and turn it in. We will acknowledge you at the beginning of the meeting. And also, while I got your attention, if you have a cell phone, if you would be so kind as to turn it off so that we are interrupted by. We will start as soon as the technical issue is resolved with the audio recording. Good. All right. I'm gonna call this meeting to order. If you please stand. And Commissioner Williams is going to open us in prayer.
Me.
You'll bow your heads with me. We go to the Lord in prayer. Heavenly Father, we're so thankful for all that you've provided us. And Father, that we even have anything to argue or disagree about. We truly are fortunate. You've given us life, you've given us liberty, You've given us options and possibilities, and for that, we are truly thankful. We bless you with our lives here today. We ask that you be blessed through our actions, our activities, and the decisions that we make. Because we are the sheep of your pasture, and we love you. We ask all these things in the name of your Son, who's our Messiah. Amen.
Amen. Pledge to the American flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Pledge to the Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible. Thank you. You may be seated. Our meeting is called to order at 9:03, and I will announce we have a quorum. All the commissioners and myself are present. Are there any general announcements? Well, I have one general announcement, and that is our debris pickup. Those of you in precinct 2 have seen the trucks going down the road picking up the tree limbs and trees that have fallen last May storms. We're finally getting them done. They will be completed in precinct 2, hopefully by the end of this week, and we'll have in excess of 10,000 cubic yards of debris that they have picked up. They started on roughly around March the 6th and have been working straight through, except for the rain delays. So as soon as we get done with precinct 2, we will be moving over to precinct 4 and working on their road. Precinct 4, 3, and 1 do not have near as much as precinct 2 had, so it will go a little bit quicker. So in that regard, any other announcements? Public comments. I have 1, 2, 4 public comments. I will take them in the order that I on here. But first, we have Dwayne Collins. If you would just come up and stand at the podium right there. Talking on item number 9.
Number 9, and I wrote down there neutral as to whether we purchase that building or not. Where we go from there. Been the 2 town hall meetings, listen to the presentation, and it's my understanding that the plans are to vacate this building, move everything down there, and to do that on a certificate of obligation. It's also we need to I think at that cost, it should be presented to the voters of this county as to whether we spend that money, not on a certificate of obligation. This building could be looked at and possibly fit our needs for quite a while. I know, and you know too, that previous court had looked at that particular situation of renovating this building to meet our needs. And I would think that we need to have that option on the table too. Not just, this is it, we're going there and moving everything over to the Paul Hackett building. So that's my thoughts. I would think maybe a good idea would be to form a committee of citizens of, you've got contractors, you've got builders, you've got realtors here in this county that would sit on the commission or the committee and look at all the options and then bring it to you folks for a closer look and then decide from there. There's been a lot of misinformation in reference to the historical commission and what they allow and don't allow at this building. And a little bit myth as to why we have not involved somebody that knows more about that issue than anybody in this county. That's former Commissioner Tim West. He should possibly be brought in to help in some of those decisions that are made. And I leave you with this thought. For all the states in the union that owe the most public debt, that's county, city, schools, that sort of thing. Texas ranks third behind California and New York.
Ooh.
We need to watch what we spend. And that's my charge to you this morning, sir. Thank you for.
All right. And next is Ann Nelson, who is going to speak on item number 10. I think she means item number 9. Number 10. Oh, you're okay. You're right. Okay.
So good morning, everyone. I'm Ann Nelson. I live in precinct 2, and I'm here representing the Zandt County Democrats to talk about agenda item 10, which is the money to do the maintenance for the courthouse windows. We support keeping the courthouse maintained. The money's been budgeted, as far as I know, it's still available. The longer we keep from doing the maintenance, the damage is going to occur in the building. So we would like to see that started as soon as possible. And we like the choice of the architectural firm, that they have the expertise to make sure the renovation or the maintenance is done correctly to conform with, assuming what the historical commission would like it done. Anyway, thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. Thank you. And next we have Donna Karen Runsaval. Run, did I get it? Runsaval. Okay. Speaking on item number 9 and number 10.
It's my first time ever to speak in the court, so I'm very nervous.
We're happy you're here.
Thank you. I guess I don't know all the politics and everything, but I just feel like when it comes to the taxpayers' money and that we have to consider all the means before we make a decision on that kind of money that they're wanting to spend on this new building. And I have children and grandchildren, and so I would like to know that when I'm not here anymore, that they wouldn't have a debt that is going to be considerable for them to have to pick up. And I'm so nervous right now. But anyway, that's just, I just feel like that it should be researched. I know that the community has grown and that the need is there. I just don't know that it's with all this that's going on with this new building and everything, that's something that really needs to be looked at.
Okay.
But
Thank you.
appreciate your time.
Thank you, Donna.
Did you want to talk on 10 also? On the windows? Okay,
Okay.
When I looked at this, I was in a hurry.
okay,
So this really was on number 9.
okay.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right. And last we have Ronnie Jones, who would like to speak on items number 3, 9, 12, and possibly 16. Okay, well, 16. Mhm.
And it's good to see you again.
What you got in front of you is, I marked that as number 9, that's 9 and 10 really go together. Because that's all has to do with all my purpose, I'm assuming. Even though item 3 does not, it says agenda item. But you never say in the agenda item, you're going to discuss the general broad term, but you never be specific about anything. So the only thing I can infer is you five gentlemen have already been in a closed session. Either individually or separately, which you've agreed what you're gonna do before you're to get here.
we've got a $60,000 retainer where we can buy the Paul Michael building up for July 1. And that was stated in this courtroom 2 meetings ago. I don't think that's changed. So why is it always a big rush to do everything y'all do? It don't have to be. If you do your homework and you do what you should do, and that's get the people's agreement that that's what they want, because everybody I talk to in every commissioner's court session and district, 1, 2, 3, and 4, I can't find anybody that wants you to do what you're doing. So somebody is pulling the wool over somebody's eyes and you're going the wrong direction. You need to be sure of what you're doing. I'm not against buying all my buildings, the price is right. It can be used for other stuff. But that's what you should have sold to begin with. When you go ahead and pretend to that, you're already getting architectural drawings of what you're gonna do with it. So you're already buying. Even though you don't have the money yet, so you're saying in this,
Can't we can't respond?
but you do have. Well, why are we playing games with the public and the taxpayers out here? And I'm one of them. I wanna know what you're doing. I don't want my kids and grandkids to have the obligation to pay 30 years on something that you guys do that's not what should have been done. I think you need to step back and take your time. And I don't say go to July 1. You may want to do it in May. But why are you doing it the 1st of April? It's almost like they're trying to cover something up. The question I have on Paul Michael's doing, have you got outside third party evaluations of the heating, air conditioning, windows, doors, foundation? And all I hear is, well, Commissioner so-and-so said they do. It's got to the point I don't trust the commissioners anymore. Get somebody that knows what they're doing. We had this back when we did the jail and we let convicts do the repairs. And they actually shaved off about 6 inches of foundation that never should have been touched, because the only problem with the jail at that time was the hinges were bad. There was a $60,000 bid and there was an $80,000 bid to change the hinges. You never would have to shave nothing off the fire company. Again, they took it too fast. I'm just saying, why don't y'all just sit back and breathe a little bit? If we're trying to cram stuff down the taxpayers' throat. And that's what I feel like you're doing.
Thank you, Ron. Is there anyone else that did not sign up? If not, we will move on to item number 4, consent agenda. Consent agenda is items that are considered routine by the Commissioners Court and enacted by one motion. If there's no separate discussion, unless the judge or commissioner requests an item be removed for discussion. Is there any items that need to be discussed separately? If not, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve consent agenda.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion passes. Item number 5, discuss and consider providing economic development assistance to Midwest 2 Mills LLC and Mechanical Sheet Metal, currently working with Wills Point Economic Development Corporation to build new facilities in Wills Point, Texas. And we have Pam Pearson with us today. I would like to just give a brief introduction. We discussed this in a workshop several weeks ago, in which with all the EDC directors, and the county has money in an account that came from the comptroller. It is called capital credits for counties. It's those utility companies who have refunds that they issue to people or clients, and the refund never gets cashed. And that money then goes back to the state comptroller. And then we apply every year for the money from Van Zandt County, and the comptroller then grants that to us. So, but they have specifications on what this money is to be spent for. We can't just spend it for whatever we want. And one of the provisions is for state or local economic development. Now, we've used this money, I think the last time was 4 or 5 years ago, with partnering with Wills Point, with one of the entities, was it Brazos Trailers that we provided for. So we now have 2 new entities that are coming into town that are, and I will now let Pam address those companies and what we could possibly do.
Judge, good morning to you and to you commissioners. I appreciate all that you do for our county, your willingness to sit in front of all of us and make a difference, because I know that's what we're all here for. I apologize for my voice. I hope that it'll hold up as I go through this. I feel great. I just sound terrible. So going back to looking at the economic development, I want to make sure that as we look at everything that we discussed in the workshops, that it's not only the investment that's going to be made for property tax, that it's an investment in primary jobs, and primary jobs are a sustainable wage for our citizens within our community and our county, so that they can live here, they can work here, they can go to the gas stations, they can eat at the restaurants, they can spend more time with their families. We can go into the schools, they're the future of our workforce, we can bring them in to fill these jobs. And it's just exciting that you see that we do have business parks and other areas that are set up specifically for this type of a job. And so I want to talk about the investment for property tax at first, which is a lot of, what you look at, and I understand that. So mechanical sheet metal, they're coming into our business park. And let me first say that you have the performance agreements in your packets that have been signed by Wills Point Economic Development Corporation, also through the city council. So those were not presented to you ahead of time, because we do not make those known until we publicly deliver incentives to them. If we met with you, you would be meeting an executive session. You can't make a commitment to a company that you would come out of and not speak about. So as I'm talking to the companies, I'm sharing with them that our county supports them. That's the main thing they want to know. But I'm not committing funds. So I don't want you to think that these have been committed prior to coming to you. So mechanical sheet metal, they are turning around now on 42 acres that was just purchased by the EDC back in 2021. They're going to be building on 26.55 acres of that property. And they are starting out with a 100,000 square foot building. It's going to be a $5 million investment, and they will have 100 jobs. So we've already seen the owners of the company have moved here from Rockwall, and that's going to continue. Typically in the past, the county has looked at the jobs that are created and supplied money off of those. Typically, it's about $1,000 per person, up to a specific number. However, that could take over a course of 2 or 3 years, and I'm not sure that you want to wait that long. So what I'm requesting on this is that you consider anywhere from $20,000 to $25,000 for this company. I know they'll have 100 committed employees from now on. Once they have their 100,000 square foot building with what taxes are currently today, then you're looking at a total between the special road tax and the property tax for the county only at $20,293.50 for the first year. So I don't think our ask is asking too much of these economic development funds that are set aside for this, that are not coming from these property taxes, that are going to help you when you move forward with all of us as we incur the burden of property tax, because as you know, The more businesses we have that are paying, the less property tax our citizens will be encumbered with any type of debt or any type of loans. So they're the first ones that I wanted to talk about. Do y'all have any questions on them?
You haven't mentioned too, the inventory that they'll be
That's
holding.
correct.
That will
Yes.
also be property tax that
Yes.
we would obtain, and it's gonna be several $1,000,000, I'm sure. So,
Yes, sir. And this is, they are a manufacturer of stainless steel products and metal products. And there's another company that is probably gonna be starting out from this company coming to Wills Point that we're hoping to have in the business park as well, that I'm hoping to introduce you to later.
okay. All right,
Okay, and then the other one is Midwest Tube Mill. Now, it's gonna be considered business retention and expansion. This was the company out of Indiana that had property in Waco for 2 years, and they couldn't get the property even purchased. They came to us, the county worked with us as well, and we made sure that we got this company not only started, but they've been here and now in their expansion in the state of Texas, they're wanting to do it here. So, they have committed to a $4 million investment to put in another building for manufacturing, and of course, they'll have the same thing, they'll have inventory as well. They will be hiring an additional 25 employees. So on their $4 million investment, yes, it's $16,234.80 on that. And I would like to request the same, anywhere from 20 to 25,000 for them, just to show a good faith effort in them keeping the jobs in and not only in Texas, but keeping them in Wills Point and in Van Zandt County. There are several of their employees that do not live in the city limits of Wills Point, but they live in our county. And so it helps us to be able to say, this money's going to you in hopes that you will keep the employees here in our county so that we can grow as a county as well. But it doesn't stop with the primary job side. I want you to realize that it goes down to all of our secondary businesses as well.
okay.
Do you
Any
have any questions on this?
questions? Again, they will have inventory, increased inventory, I assume, with the expansion.
This,
1 year return on investment is pretty good, just when you're only considering just the property tax.
is this in the county or the city?
This is in the
In
city,
the city.
but the county as well. of
Right.
course. It's in our business park. That way they're regulated. We know what they're putting in. They have sewer, they have water, they have the power that's determined. The business park is set up for this reason. They're not gonna be anywhere near the residential areas that are out in the county or in the city. This business park was built back in 1991 was when it was started.
Okay,
And they are turning around as well. So your vote today will not make a difference, but it'll make a difference in moving forward. And I feel like their investment has come because they feel welcomed into our county.
okay, very good. We have $400,000 budgeted in the economic development. We have over $500,000 in the account that has come from the comptroller. It's not taxpayer money, it's comptroller money that is available to us. So,
Well, that's easy. That's a pretty easy give, yeah.
well. So do I hear, is there,
So what, are we gonna discuss how much you want? So you want 20 or 25? 20? Yeah.
I didn't want to set a specific one. The EDC, of course, is given 25. But I didn't want to set that specific because I tried to stay with just the first year of property tax was what I was looking at. So,
I would say 20 to the Midwest and 25 to the sheep, because you're looking at 20 employees and 100 employees.
okay, is there a motion
I'll
Is that a
motion
motion?
I'll motion that.
that we provide economic development assistance to Midwest, let's see, Midwest Tube Mills LLC and in the amount of $20,000 and the mechanical sheet metal in the amount of $25,000, working with the Wells Point Economic Development Corporation. So that's your motion?
Promotion.
Okay.
I'll second that.
All right, and I would like to say that we would follow the same performance agreement that Wills Point did, where that money is not paid out until they have documented that they've spent 4 million on their investment and 5 million in their investment, and at that point in time, it gets paid out.
Yes, sir. Once we're supplied the receipts on that, then I will provide those to you once they've been looked at by the EDC and by the city council.
So
Yes, sir.
you'll manage it for us. Okay, very good.
It's what you have economic developers for.
All right. All right, any more discussion? All's in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Pose like sign. Motion passes. Thank you so much, Pam.
I appreciate it.
All right, item number 6, discuss and consider the month of April to be Child Abuse and Neglect Awareness Month. This is something that every April we come by and CAC is involved, and I want to read the resolution to you. It says, whereas children are vital to our state's future success, prosperity, and quality of life, as well as being our most vulnerable assets. Whereas all children deserve to have the safe, stable, nurturing homes and communities they need to foster their healthy growth and development. Whereas child abuse and neglect is a community responsibility affecting both the current and future quality of life of a community. Whereas communities that provide parents with the social support, knowledge of parenting, and child development and concrete resources they need to cope and stress with and nurture their children, ensure all children grow to their full potential. Whereas effective child abuse prevention strategies succeed because of partnerships created among citizens, human service agencies, schools, faith communities, healthcare providers, civic organizations, law enforcement agencies, and the business community. Therefore, we do hereby proclaim April as Child Abuse Prevention Month and call upon all citizens, community agencies, faith groups, medical facilities, elected leaders, and businesses to increase their participation in our efforts to support families, hereby preventing child abuse and strengthening the communities in which we live. So we do hereby encourage all residents of Van Zandt County to stand united against child abuse and neglect, to join in dedicating their energies to cherishing Van Zandt County children and helping them grow and free from physical, emotional, and sexual abuse. That is the resolution. Is there a motion to accept the sign this resolution?
I'd make a motion to sign that resolution.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second that.
All right. Did you want to say anything, Tonda? Is Tonda here? Did you want to say anything about this? Because I know we have a,
the effort of the Children's Advocacy Center to bring awareness to child abuse throughout the month of April, not only here, but statewide and nationwide. And we appreciate very much the commission's support of our efforts.
okay, very good. All right, motion is made second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Pose like sign. Motion passes. Item number 7, discuss, consider, and approve a resolution to declare the month of April as Fair Housing Month. This resolution is required by several of the grants that we receive, and I'll read that briefly. It says that whereas adequate housing is a basic need and a right of all people, and whereas April is the anniversary of the enactment of the Federal Fair Housing Act of 1968, Title III of the Civil Rights Act, which states that discrimination in the sale and rental of housing is illegal when based on race, color, religion, sex, or national origin. And whereas the Fair Housing Amendments Act of 1988 extend fair housing rights to the basis of familiar status to families with children and on the basis of handicap to disabled persons. And whereas Van Zandt County supports fair housing efforts to eliminate discrimination in housing, and in order to heighten public awareness, the county wishes to focus public attention on April as Fair Housing Month. And now, therefore, it's hereby proclaimed by the power vested in the Commissioners Court of Van Zandt County that April 2025 is declared Fair Housing Month in the county of Van Zandt County. Encourage all citizens and community organizations to celebrate the value of harmonious and diverse communities of neighbors and supports the goal of equal housing opportunity for all. Is there a motion to assign this resolution?
Motion to approve resolution, declare month of April as Fair Housing Month.
All right, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion passes. Item number 8. Discuss and consider the month of April to be Sexual Assault Awareness Month. And that proclamation states, whereas sexual assault, a violent and devastating crime, affects men, women, and children of all race, age, and economic situations. Whereas the consequences of sexual assault are often severe and long-lasting, in addition to the risk of developing post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, and many other psychological or physical ailments increases dramatically for victims of sexual assault. Whereas each year, the Texas Association Against Sexual Assault, in conjunction with other organizations, designates the month of April for an educational campaign to promote awareness and to build upon the network of support that has been mobilized to address this issue. Whereas the association and its partners provide training to rape crisis and law enforcement personnel, as well as to volunteers and staff of service agencies and community groups. They also provide outreach to schools and information on topical issues related to sexual assault. Whereas every person throughout this community shares a responsibility to each other and to generations to come to help break the cycle of abuse. Together, united in this effort, we can continue to make a difference. Now, therefore, in recognition of the importance of the work done by sexual assault programs, I, Andy Reese, Van Zandt County Judge, together with the Commissioners Court of Van Zandt County, do hereby proclaim the month of April 2025 as Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Is there a motion to sign this resolution?
Motion to sign resolution, month of April be Sexual Assault Awareness Month.
All right, motion made. Is there a second?
Second.
No, let me second.
All right. Motion made second. Any further discussion? Not all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion passes. Item number 9, discuss and consider authorizing the county judge to close the purchase of property at 1930 Trade Days Boulevard, Canton, Texas, and approve line item transfer of necessary funds.
We need to table this till at least the next Commissioners Court.
Second.
All
Is
right,
that in the form
That's
of a motion?
Yeah, motion to table this till the next Commissioners Court.
okay. Motion is made to table this item by Commissioner Barton and seconded by Commissioner Williams. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion passes. Item number 10, discuss and consider authorizing the county judge to sign a contract with Komatsu Architecture for design, development, construction documents, permitting and a regulatory review and bidding for restoration of the Van Zandt County Courthouse windows and doors. I presented this several months back, I think back in February, and we tabled it because of other events going on. And I'd like to bring it back up before our review and in that regard. The amount of the contract is right at $90,000. And what will happen? Komatsu Engineering is the firm that we put on our grant application as being our architect for the restoration of the courthouse. And they were very helpful in providing us a lot of advice and information in putting together that grant application. They are the premier engineering firm for courthouse restoration. They currently have 25 courthouses either in progress that they are helping to restore, or they have finished and completed restored. They are considered the best in the industry. And the purpose of this particular contract is to have them come in to do an evaluation of all 182 windows of this courthouse, determine exactly what needs to be done to them, whether they repair, if they're repair, replace, and then they will, with that information, they will then generate an RFP for a request for contractors to come in and do the work. And because this particular project is not, we would not be able to fund it all in 1 year. We've asked them to break it up into sections, and that would be the north side, and then the south side, and the west side, and east side separately, and then the fifth floor differently. And then we would prioritize them based on the current problems we are having with water intrusion coming in. Whenever we have a storm comes from this side, county clerk's office and the district courtroom get water in them. And same with the other one. We had that big storm several weeks back. I was here and was watching it come in all the windows on this side over here. So, and the reason being is that all there's no caulking left around the windows that can hold the water back. Plus, a lot of the windows cannot open or close properly. So the purpose of this contract is to go out and to find out, determine, and the reason you want to determine what needs to be done or let them do that is so that all of your bidders are working off of the same contract or the same specifications on what needs to be done. Plus, they will coordinate all of their plans with the Texas Historical Commission. They have a very good relationship with them. So that is the workup on it. Are there any questions about this particular contract?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I have.
Yes, sir.
Just for the average person on the street, how did you get to the Komatsu? What was the steps you took to choose Komatsu to be the vendor on this?
It was from my working with them on our grant, and then going around every county judge that worked on that, not every, but almost all the county judges that had their courthouse restored told me they were the best in the business. It's word of mouth from people around that told me the best. Plus, the references. If you saw the packet that I put, their qualifications are pretty impressive as far as what they can do. So we did have somebody come look at our windows last year or the year before last, and it was very disappointing in the results. They were not specific, and they were not going to be able to do what we needed to do. So, you know, go ahead.
The public looks at it and they want to know why we're having to pay $95,000 to get a quote. That's what I'm getting at. I'm not,
Okay,
I'm for you.
I understand.
I just want to make it clear to why the steps that we had to go through. Did we go through a quote system with different companies to get through Komatsu?
No, we did not do and there is a code right here that states when we're working with an engineering or architect firm, it is not necessary. A governmental entity may not select a provider of professional services or a group association of providers or award contract for services on the basis of competitive bids submitted for the contract for the service, but shall make the selection and award one based on the demonstrated competence and qualifications to perform the service, and two for a fair and reasonable price. So that is the basis on which I presented Komatsu. And now whether it's a fair and reasonable price, I don't know. The other thing that you've got to realize is if they're going to be our architect, when we eventually do a court restoration, this is going to lower that cost because it'll already been done. A lot of this work will already have been done before we start on the restoration work.
I think doing this depends on number 9. We cannot, in my opinion, change all these windows while people are in here with asbestos, with the mold. We have to find out a place to go before we start doing this. And I don't want to put Band-Aids on this courthouse. If we're going to restore, remodel this courthouse or whatever, let's do it right and do the whole thing. Get a bid for the whole daggum thing.
I'm glad that you brought up number 9. I'm curious why you tabled number 9 today. Just curious.
There's a question that we haven't had answered that we found out yesterday. I'm waiting on an answer.
If I could, so what you're saying, and I hadn't picked this up before, Judge, you're saying that the reason to have Komatsu is so that all the contractors that bid on restoring the windows in this building on all these different sides have a baseline of what work they are going to do.
Specification.
They'll know the specs for what they're
Right.
bidding on, and will Komatsu go back after those contractors, whoever is awarded the bid, will they go back afterward and make sure that it's done properly?
And that is part of the contract. They will actually supervise the construction work and make sure that they're abiding by the specifications that had been done.
Was any of the work on that Komatsu will be doing, was any of that work completed prior to the grant or in the grant process a year or so ago?
No. No, they had Komatsu, we haven't contracted for them to do anything for the courthouse at this point in time.
How does the Texas Historical Commission get to $11 million to renovate the building if that kind of review hasn't been done on the exterior, like on the windows?
Oh, well, we did hire a cost estimator.
Okay.
That we paid $23,000 for them to go through the specs of the grant or the planning documents that we did that specify what needs to be done. They took those and they went in and they updated the cost based on current costs from the grant that we applied for in 2020.
Okay.
And when was that?
When was that? That was in May of 2024, just before we.
That's when we had
April.
estimator come?
Yes. April of 2024 was when the estimator made the estimates to update the grant amount.
And I've got a question on that because in 2018, with what Tim had proposed, it was going to be 10.6 million to do it. And then 7 years later in 2024, 2025, it's only 11. And
But that could just be due to a difference in the work, if you're I mean, in my opinion, I'm Mr. West is certainly here, but if in the second one, they say we're not going to replace every brick on the exterior, we're only going to replace those that have damage. I mean, there could be some differences in there.
if it was apples to apples,
Yeah.
the cost of construction, there's no way that's right.
It wouldn't, if you did that, Cliff, then it would become a non-total restoration.
Well, no, you only have to restore what's broke.
I understand that.
Yeah,
But-
so it's different. A total restoration doesn't mean that you start over at the
I
ground.
understand that,
Right.
but if in the first estimate, the brick was broke, then they're not gonna do away with that portion of it.
Right, that was an example.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying.
Part-
So
I think
Brandon, part of it too was the fact that we paid for a new roof. That was $500,000. That's part of what was not included in the new quote because we already had the roof.
Well, this is what I would like to see. This is my opinion. I think we can all agree, everyone, something has to be done with this courthouse. I think we're all in agreement on that. And in order to do that, we have to move out. We have the people that are employed here, we have to get out of here. That's number one. And then we get Komatsu or some architectural firm with the Historic Society, and don't look at floor 1 through 3. Look at floor 1 through 5 and get a total cost of what it is going to take to do this whole thing. There's no sense in just piecemealing this thing together, doing the first 3 floors, not the 4th and 5th. We're just doing these windows. Get the whole thing.
Okay, well, let me explain why I've gone this route, and that is because went back and watched the Commissioner West. I watched the YouTube video when we discussed the courthouse grant in 2020 and decided not to because they only offered $3 million out of the total estimated cost of $11 million. And but it was specifically said we need to get we need to move forward with restoring or working on the windows. That was said in 2020.
We still have to get out
In
of here.
2024, when we had the commissioner court meeting on 10/23, once we turned down the grant, it was specifically stated we need to move forward with working on the windows. That is what I considered my directive to be. That is why we have this contract right here. That's why I've designed it to work over multiple years. No idea, what the future holds as far as another restoration grant or where it would be, but the windows need to be fixed. Either way. So that's why I'm bringing it to the court right now.
Where's the asbestos at?
In the tiles,
What
And all-
tile, what tiles?
in all the tiles.
Floor.
It's in the historical commission report that,
Which
Tim
tiles?
had.
The floor tiles?
Floor tiles.
So you think we have to get out to change windows because the floor tiles?
Hey,
No.
I don't know.
Well, I would
This
mention
place is
that,
full of asbestos and mold.
that when we were talking about budgets last year, we specifically told, the public that we were going to budget a little bit of money, each year. 500,000 is not a little bit, but it is when you're talking about 11 million as the difference. But that's what our instruction was, is that we were going to do a little bit, as we go, so that we could keep the courthouse. And I think roof and windows are kind of primary.
Anybody living in a house right now that their windows was pouring water in would fix it. No matter what. We could take a little vote right here. Anybody against fixing the windows? Anybody would fix them. If the water is pouring in through the windows, you fix the windows. If the money's set aside and the court directed the judge to do it last year, it needs to be done. Or what are we doing? We make a decision today, it takes a little time to go through the process, then somebody changes their mind and the window's still leaking.
We still have to have a place to go.
Well,
What about this house?
one of the.
I'm sorry, there's no public discussion on this item. I'm sorry.
One of the issues,
Commissioners.
one of the issues that I think that probably needs clarity is that we do have an asset here, and whether we like it or we don't like it, in 2020, the Commissioners Court at that time signed an agreement with the Texas Historical Commission that we would maintain this building, despite what it costs. And we have several things that we are going to have to work through related to this building, and in 26 is the soonest that we could apply for the grant. Again, is that correct, Judge? For the
That is
Texas
correct.
Historical Commission?
It'll open up in 2026 in January or February, and be submitted in May of 2026.
I don't think that we can we may not be able to wait for 2 years. I certainly have a deep respect for the people that work in this building. And I don't want them to suffer, and I don't want the building to suffer. So, I think just for openness, I think that the Paul Michael building is a great annex. And I think that it's a place that does give us the opportunity, Commissioner, to move to and allow people to work while this building is being renovated. And then you move back, some of the folks into this building. My discussions with the Texas Historical Commission said we don't, they understand that we're not going to have to move everybody back, but they're willing to do the lion's share of the work financial on this building. And if we keep replacing pieces, here and pieces there, then we may well get it under the $10 million that Texas Historical Commission is willing to invest in this community.
Well, I don't think we should make a decision on this today until we've got a decision if we have a place to go. So I would motion to table this one also until we can figure out the number 9. Because you're going to have scaffolding. I mean, this place is going to be a mess. And I mean, do y'all want to work with your windows sitting there wide open?
This is a direct result of the Commissioner Court declining the full restoration grant. And my being asked for the directive that we need to repair the windows. This is a solution. If this is not what you want me to do, then tell me what it is you want.
Well, Judge, there is a motion on the floor. And so far I haven't heard a second.
Okay. Is there a second?
I motion to table this.
All right, there's a motion to table. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, motion made to table this by Commissioner Barton and seconded by Commissioner Phillips. Is there any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed, like sign.
Aye.
Aye. Then the motion to table fails. Is there a motion to authorize the county judge to sign the contract with Komatsu Architecture for design, development, construction documents, permitting and regulatory review, and bidding for the restoration of Van Zandt County Courthouse windows and doors?
I'll make that motion.
All right. Is there a second?
Second.
All right. Motion made and second. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed?
No.
Motion passes. We will move forward with the contract with Komatsu to work on the restoration of the windows, the bidding process for the restoration of the courthouse windows. All right, item number 11, discuss and consider authorizing the purchase of a firewall for Tower Site 3 and Precinct 3 and video cameras and recorders for Tower Site, Sheriff's Office and Precinct 3 to be paid out of ARPA interest accounts. For those of you who don't know, we have a major radio project in works right now. We have 5 towers, 4 that we own, 1 that we rent. And 2 of the towers actually hold what are called the brains of the whole radio system, the control computers. And those 2 towers, have shelters in which all this is housed in. And we have internet, one's at the sheriff's office, one is in precinct 3. And we need to have cameras up to monitor for security purposes and for monitoring. And the cameras quote for 5 cameras at each site plus a NVR recorder to be housed at that site is right at $11,300. The site, we have already purchased Starlink to be our internet service at the site in Wills Point, and it is installed and running. But in order to access, we need to have a firewall set up in there. The firewall cost is $960, and that will allow us. We are not planning at this time to put the cameras in the other towers until we get the cameras working and make sure that they do what they want, that we expect, and that the internet service through Starlink is sufficient to handle the video coverage. So the total amount is $12,260, again, to be paid out of ARPA interest account. So do I hear a motion to approve the purchase of these items?
I'll motion.
All right.
I'll second.
Motion made by Commissioner Barton, seconded by Commissioner Phillips. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Opposed, like sign. Motion passes. All right, item number 12, discuss and consider TVEC setting poles in Van Zandt County road easement on Van Zandt County Road 2623.
Yeah, the TVEC has a line running on the north side of County Road 2623 that services houses there. There's a house being built across the road. And so what TVEC is asking and what the homeowner is asking is that the county allow them to cross over, following all the applicable state, local rules, cross over 2623 so that they can provide service to this, to the residents that's being built there on the south side of that. That's at the, right there, just west of the intersection 2623 and 2622. And so I'd ask the court, I'd motion that we allow TVEC, we authorize TVEC to set poles in Van Zandt County Road easement 2623 and trim back some of the trees that are in the easement area.
All right, motion is made. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, any further discussion? All those in favor of granting the easement, say aye. Opposed, like sign. Motion passes. Item 13, discuss and consider a replat of lot 9 of the Acorn Estates located in Van Zandt County Road 2715 in precinct 2.
On replats, this is property that has already been platted, lot 29 of Acorn Estates. They have complied with all of the rules related to their replat, but the issue that we have is that it's got to be posted in a public hearing for a minimum of 30 days. So we have to have the public hearing, and it's got to be posted for 30 days. Our May 7th meeting is 28 days. Our May 21st meeting is 42 days. So in this particular case, what we're doing is they have complied with all the rules. It doesn't require a private road or any other easements or such, because it is on County Road 2715. And so what we're asking for is it's 1.47 acres. It'll be lot 29A. The residue or the lot 29B will be 3.55 acres. So both of them exceed 1 acre. And so we're just asking for the court today to approve this. And if there are no dissenters that come forward between now and May the 21st, that it be placed on the May 21st to be approved by get its final approval. But what we're asking for today is that we accept this replat of the lot 29 into 29A and 29B. And so I'd make that motion that we approve the replat of lot 29 of Acorn Estates pending the posting, the 30-day posting, and then it be brought back on May 21st for final approval.
I'll second that.
All right, motion has been made and seconded. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion passes. Item 14, discuss, consider approval of Whispering Oak subdivision plat located in Van Zandt County Road 2810 in precinct 2.
This is a tier 1 subdivision in Whispering Oaks containing 20 lots. Each of these lots have county road frontage, so there'll be no easements, no dedications there. It's at Van Zandt County Road 2810 and FM 3080 at that intersection. So they have completed all of the requirements related to our subdivisions for phase 1. It's been approved by the engineers. And so I'd make a motion that we approve the Whispering Oaks subdivision located at Van Zandt County Road 2810 and FM 3080.
Second.
All right, motion has been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion passes. Item number 15, discuss, consider approval of Milagro Ranch subdivision plat located in Van Zandt County Road 717 in precinct 3. So we got someone in front of you.
Yeah, this is mine, and they have, followed all of our subdivision rules and everything. They have all the letters. They've done everything they're supposed to do. And this is on 3717 and 3701, and all of the lots face the road. They've done all we've asked them to do, and I make a motion that we accept this.
All right, motion been made. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, how many lots are there?
What was it, Keegan? There was, do you remember?
It's like
15,
16.
15, 16?
16.
Yeah, 16.
And what's the lot size?
There's one to 5 acres. Yeah.
1 to 5 acres. Okay. All right. All right, motion made second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion passes. At this time, we will go into executive session, 2 executive sessions. One is in compliance with section 551.074 of the Texas Government Code to deliberate the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment, duties, discipline, or dismissal of a public officer, employee, or to hear a complaint or charge against an officer, complaint, or employee. And the second executive session is in compliance with section 551.071 of the Texas Government Code to seek advice of its attorney regarding pending or contemplated litigation or consultation with its attorney regarding matters protected by the attorney-client privilege. So we will exit our meeting at 10:01. Thank you all for attending. And today we will come back and do two workshops as well as any additional business.